Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day and above all else that you are indeed looking after yourselves and one another. Thank you, Jim. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode, color coordinated and all, of Attack of the Killer B-Sides. Now, again, with the idea of this episode and these episodes that we're doing, I thought it was a good idea to make a list of albums where I thought that the B-sides of these albums are in fact killer, from track one to track six, or however long it is. And as luck would have it, I've had some friends that want to come along with me on this ride. Uh, in
Hey,
particular, in particular for this episode, Mr. Jim Bricker. So, without further ado, and as I grab my sip of tea, I will pass the virtual mic over to Jim, and you can talk about the album for today that he believes has a killer B-side. Take it away, Jim.
I do believe it down to the very tips of my toes, and we are talking about the fantastic May 1976 release from Steely Dan, The Royal Scam. Now, it don't get much more killer than this, ladies and germs. So this was the fifth album released by Steely Dan. Can't Buy a Thrill, Countdown to Ecstasy, Pretzel Logic, and Katie Lied all popped 72, 73, 74, 75. So they're keeping pace on their one album a year thing. Don't know how they did it, but they sure did. This is the album that finds them really fully off the road. And, Pretzel Logic was their last album that they recorded while they were a road band. Katie Lied was the first when they came off. So now they're really getting settled into the vibe of really just being a studio band and really beginning to kind of flex their muscles and do whatever they wanted. The song structures get a little bit more mature and I'll say thick with the jazz chords,
Yes.
and they're really beginning to kind of stretch out, and the time that they take to tell their musical stories. And this is a side that is just chock full of them. Um, all kinds of unsavory individuals live on side B of the Royal Scam, as they do on most Steely Dan albums. Let's just be clear about that.
Okay.
Um, so, um, so this is not to knock side A of the Royal Scam. It's got three of my all-time favorite Steely Dan songs on there: Kid Charlemagne, Caves of Altamira, Sign and Stranger. Absolute A plus, top shelf Steely Dan song. However, as an entire collective of a side, something that kind of is massively rewarding uh, in just one sitting, I think side B kind of takes the cake here on Royal Scam, and I don't know if I can prove my point. I don't know if I can sway any fence sitters who or people who say no, side A is the greatest, and you're a moron for thinking side B is good.
Well,
Uh
again, if I may interject, these are your opinions, and again, it's not to say that the A sides of these albums that we talked about or that we talk about are bad. We're just focusing on the B sides, and your views count, and to hell with anyone else that believes otherwise. I mean, it's your
well,
opinion.
that's kind of how I was feeling about the whole thing. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So I just validated you. There you go. I mean, there you go. Yeah.
Armando, my brother, thank you so much.
I love you too.
Um
Go on.
all right. So this side um of the album starts off um with, I think, a banger that is even eclipses Kid Charlemagne, and that is the funk workout called Green Earrings. Now, lyrically, Green Earrings is the song of a jewel thief, someone who is stealing the rings of rare design or desire, one of the two. Um,
Or
but
both.
this song is anchored. Sorry,
Or both.
or both, or both. This song is anchored by two or three outstanding musical performances. And to me, it's the thing that sort of takes it into the next tier. The first is the drumming by Bernard Purdie. Now, Bernard gets a whole ton of love for his uh, Purdie shuffle on Home at Last from Asia, and that's very, very deserved. However, just the breakneck funk workout that he gives on Green Earrings is really not something to be trifled with.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, no.
he's just he's just swinging this bastard from stem to stern. Did you want to interject something?
I just can't believe you said bastard, but go ahead. You've got my respect. Go
Well,
on. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Um,
Go on.
Especially the breakdown in between one of the guitar solo sections where, as Rick Beato calls it, he basically does a hi-hat solo
Mm,
in the middle of just this, pum, pum, workout to get from point A to point B in the solo. The second and third musical parts of this track that make it outstanding are the guitar solos. And there's basically four, two by Denny Diaz and
mm,
two by Elliot Randall.
yeah.
Um, Denny Diaz's two solos kind of come in the bridge section. And those are the sections that kind of start off with this gentle dun, 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 dun. And
Hmm.
then after that, um, Bernard Purdie hi-hat breakdown, it starts off with this just blistering kind of I don't know what he's doing. This thing where he's just plucking way down on the neck, and it sounds like he's creating some sort of high note distortion effect. And then he just rips into this unbelievably fluid um, kind of surf jazz exploration that's just kind of like takes the song to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Um, from there, Denny's work is done. It's like, good man, Denny, you've done awesome. Then they bring in Elliot Randall, who, if memory serves right, is the soloist from Reelin' in the Years.
He is. Yeah.
He is. Okay. So Elliot comes in with just this nasty, nasty guitar solo that takes you to the final outro chorus,
Hmm.
and then he ups the ante again and just filthy, ragged nastiness through the end of the song. Um, Again, he's just doing these very weird kind of fast run, hyper fast guitar picking parts that just kind of um, they echo the the intent of the song and the nastiness that's going on lyrically.
Hmm.
It's not fun. It's just funky as all get out. And the more I listen to Green Earrings, the higher it sort of climbs on the list of my favorite Steely Dan songs. So to me, it's like knocking on the door of Babylon Sisters and Black Cow and things like that. It's just
Yeah.
a
I hear that.
supremely amazing track.
I hear that. I hear that. Um, yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Funky guitar. Funky as all get out. I mean, it leaves
Yep,
a stain on you after you're done listening to it. It's that good. Yeah. No, I
this
get
is
it.
very true.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's a real ear grabber and just pulls you into side B,
Oh yeah.
um,
Oh yeah.
big time.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so that sort of sets the stage for what's to come, and it kind of begins to shift gears just a little bit into the next song on side B. So that's Haitian Divorce. This was a pretty big single in the UK. Don't think it really charted in the US or Canada, but Haitian Divorce has a lot of love over in the United Kingdom.
Hmm.
Um, and this is, it's a reggae song. Um, Dean Parks did the guitar, which Walter Becker altered with a talk box
Yeah.
to just give it this really distinctive sound. And it's basically the song of a woman who decided to leave her marriage and go seek out a quickie divorce in Haiti, and she fell in with some guy with dreadlocks and got back home and reconciled with her husband. And a few months later, it's like, oh, who's this little fella who's come
Oh,
along?
oh.
So it
Well,
also
I
has one
guess
of the
so. I guess
yes.
what. So I guess whatever happened in Vegas didn't stay in Vegas. I mean,
No,
it followed.
definitely not.
It followed her home.
Yeah, it's most certainly did.
Yeah, I
Um,
get that. Okay.
so not only is this, so you've got this real unsavory lady character here who did her hubby wrong, and has now a different kind of child to show for it, shall we say? But
Mm-hmm.
then this song also contains one of my absolute favorite Steely Dan lines of a great way to sort of change scenes in a song, where they basically use the film um, aesthetic of now we dolly back, which is the phrase for moving the camera back, and then
Mm-hmm.
we fade to black, and that's their way of sort of moving into the solo section before they get to the final verse. And I just think that's such a clever way to sort of move from one scene to another. And if anyone else tries that from here on in, it's like, well, you're clearly just copying Haitian divorce. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's like this is a one trick pony. You can pull this lyrical trick once and it's perfect and beautiful.
Yeah.
Anything else just kind of becomes cheap and cheesy.
Yeah. I get
Um,
it. I get it. I get it.
Another thing to point out is that for both Green Earrings and Haitian Divorce, Donald Fagen's vocals are just so strong and snarky, and you know, it's everything that you want a Steely Dan vocal to be. It's just full of character and innuendo and ill feelings and um, you know. I think we've talked before about some of the differences between like the Nightfly as a Donald Fagen solo album and
Yeah.
the Steely Dan records. And I think the majority of it has to do with Walter Becker really being kind of the lyrical force behind Steely Dan. And when Donald is singing those lyrics, there's just a bite to them. And this
Yeah.
side is all about the bite.
I would agree. I would agree. Especially how you're describing uh the lyrical content and even from the arrangements on so far. I mean, just a little side note. I heard that this album was considered to be their most heaviest album in terms of the music that they were doing. Um, I don't know if I agree, but I mean there is some bite to it, very much
Mhm.
so, musically. But please
It's
continue, Mike.
certainly the album that has the most forceful guitar,
Yeah,
especially when you think of Kid Charlemagne and Don't Take Me Alive.
yeah,
The Asia and Gaucho kind of feel more like horn, brass and reed and keyboards records,
yeah,
whereas Royal Scam is really, six strings of just bile.
yeah. The guitar is in the fore on the mix, like in the forefront, very much so,
Yep.
very much so. But please do continue, my dear boy. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was kind of ready to continue to the next song, song eight.
Yes.
Did you have anything else you wanted to state about divorces, Haitian or otherwise?
Divorce is an ugly thing. That's all I can say. I mean, it's like
All right,
it's a very ugly thing,
it
especially
is.
in this circumstance. But anyway, only between these two characters, we won't go there. But no, um, I have this album. I went on a shopping spree one day. Big surprise, ladies and gentlemen, and I bought
Hmm.
all of the Steely Dan '70s of the original run album of the albums, and I am sorry to say that I haven't spent enough time with with this album with the Raw Scam, but I will correct that. And I liked what I heard. I really did. It's
Yeah, I
fantastic.
mean, to me in the Steely Dan world, the toppermost is Asia, and
Of
then it's
course.
usually a cage match between Royal Scam and Katie Lied as
Yeah.
to which is the number two for me,
Hmm.
but it's always, it's always up there battling it out. I
I'm
really
just
love this record.
and before you continue with the rest of the tracks, I'm just gonna say this. To me, Katie Lied is where they stopped worrying about the hits and they just went for whatever they wanted to do, and they continued it with the Royal Scam.
Yep.
Enough said. Enough said. Okay.
Enough said. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next song, guess what, is also about an unsavory character. It could also kind of be considered a second part or part of the whole story that begins with Haitian divorce, which
Mhm.
is Everything You Did. And this is a story of a guy catching his girl in in an affair type of situation,
Oh,
shall
in a
we
very
say.
compromising position. Yes, yes. Okay.
Yes, exactly. I never knew you. You were a roller skater. You're going to show me later. I mean, clearly he's been having his eye on this girl. Where did the
Okay.
bastard run? Is he still around? That kind of thing.
And there you go.
Um,
There you go.
so on side B, this is the first appearance of Larry Carlton on guitar, which is
Yes.
kind of noteworthy because he is the distinctive voice over most of side A between the amazing solos on Don't Take Me Alive and Kid Charlemagne, of course. It's like he finally gets his chance to sort of step out here, and Everything You Did is very much a kind of, well, it's not a by the numbers blues rock song because Steely Dan never did anything by the numbers, but this feels pretty close and in that wheelhouse to me.
Okay.
The other thing I'll mention is that there have been many folks on the interwebs who kind of point to the penultimate song of a Steely Dan album as its weakest, and they bring up um, Everything You Did. They bring up I Got the News, and they bring up My Rival as sort of evidence of that theory. Um,
Okay.
For me, I can sort of understand My Rival. I do think it's the weakest song on Gaucho, but I Got the News and Everything You Did. I don't quite buy that because I think they're such great songs. I would really have to sit down and sort of, rank them like, and it would be as painful as ranking my children in terms of all the other songs on an album. But it's hard for me to just sort of take as a blanket statement that those songs are weak
Okay.
or the weakest. Um, yeah, and again, Larry Carlton's guitar work on this is just fantastic. And again, it's a nice flow between the funk of Green Earrings, the reggae-ness via the talk box of Haitian Divorce, and then you've got this standard kind of blues rock number of Everything You
Yeah.
Did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, lots. I mean, it still all sounds like Steely Dan throughout, but there's a real nice variety in how they arrange things.
Yeah. Yeah. I can hear that. I
Yeah.
can.
And then it ends with the title track, The Royal Scam, which is this, I don't even know what genre to kind of put it in. It's not soul, it's not jazz, it's, I don't know where to put it,
It's
but it's
Steely
this
Dan.
it thank you for joining us on the Music Den, ladies and gentlemen. No,
Yep.
it's this sparse
Yeah. No, I get what you're
piano
saying.
and horn driven tune that is, surprise. It's about unsavory characters. These from the Dominican Republic who landed in New York and have worked out a way to, um, you know, say up you to the system and rob the system and rob people and live off, the fat of other people's work, shall we say.
Hmm.
um, they are the ones who have perpetrated the royal scam and are sending their money back to their, you know, abuelitas in the DR, as they sit on their fat stacks of cash and play cards all day.
Yeah.
So, um, and again, it's just this amazing tune with driven by Chuck Finley's trumpet solos, which kind of go through all of section two and section three of the song. Just amazing, outstanding playing. I mean, what Larry Carlton is to the guitar on this album, Chuck Finley is to the trumpet. And I'm not just kind of saying it because, oh, Chuck plays the trumpet and Larry Carlton doesn't. Chuck's playing is expressive,
Mhm.
creative, all over the map in terms of tone, color, meter. It's just
Dripping.
dripping with awesomeness. Oh my God. It, uh, yes, trumpet fans out there, if you don't know the Royal Scam, you got to listen to it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's a perfect capstone of an album, especially in the fade out of it, which is just the sort of repeated theme, and it's just kind of like a movie that doesn't end, as it just sort of drifts into absolute silence. There's still this kind of ongoing story of these ne'er-do-wells
Yeah.
who are, screwing it to the people. It's just an ongoing thing. And just the way that it's produced, the way that it's arranged. Got to give my hat off to Gary Katz as the producer of this record. Um, like all the great 70s Steely Dan albums. I mean, Gary Katz is definitely one third of the formula that you just cannot ignore. Um, so yeah, I mean, I thought long and hard about the what Steely Dan album to put in here as far as what is like the killerest of the bees. And I got through
Mhm.
earlier saying that Asia is just like the album to
Yeah.
beat for me. But in terms of like a holistic event of sitting down and satisfactory listening, I think the Royal Scam has it beat.
Okay. And that's valid. I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I
How I
mean,
feel. These are my
and
feelings, Armando.
there you go. There you
Validate
go.
them.
They're, they're valid. I promise you they're valid. Okay.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you.
There you go. And well, like I said in when I did the episode for Queen too, it's not that I like side white better than less than side black. For me, with Queen 2, side black was the first side I took to, that grabbed me to listen to. I eventually would listen to side white, and I love side white, but side black for me was just the one side of the album that I gravitated to for at first, and it always stuck with me. So again, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It is what it is, and you feel what you feel. So. But yeah, no, good, good description and good reason as to why you feel that side B of the Royal Scam is a killer B side, you know? So, all right,
Rumpf, I do.
there you go. There you go. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Another episode of Attack of the Killer B-Sides. Please put down in the comments below your views on this album, whether or not you feel that side B is in fact a killer B-side, or are we missing something? You know, are we off our rocker? I mean, did we miss the boat completely on this? Are we not understanding something, or do you agree with us about you know Sad Be the Rose Can being a killer B-side? I want to thank Jim Bricker for joining me on this episode, and we will be back with more episodes of Attack of the Killer B-Sides. And please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content I've got coming up. And
Thanks for
please,
having me, Armando. This has been great.
you're very welcome. We might even come back for another one. Who knows? And yes, dare I say. And please again, click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content I've got coming up. And we'll see you soon with more episodes. Bye for now.